Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Snes. Hope you're all well today. Okay, so got a lot of questions as usual, quite a few actually this week, so we'll get straight into the questions. And the first set of questions come from my good friend Alex, Blutonic78. So cheers Alex. And his first question is, okay, so it's been a while now since you sold your US Super Nintendo collection. Are you having any regrets? Not at the moment, no. I haven't, to be honest with you, since I sold the American SNES collection, I've had no regrets whatsoever. I think it was the right time to do that and to move on. And I was really in the mood for getting into the Japanese market and getting back to my roots of collecting. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied that it was the right decision at the time. Is the novelty of Japanese gaming wearing off a little? And do you think you made the right decision? And what direction do you think your collection will be heading in the future, both long and short term? So in terms of the Japanese stuff, at the moment it's fine. I'm doing okay. I'm enjoying the Mega Drive. Obviously I love the Super Famicom. Fantastic consoles. Did I make the right decision, and what direction do I see my collection going in the long and short term future? Yeah, as I say, I do think I made the right decision to move back into the Japanese Super Famicom and the Japanese Mega Drive. Now in terms of long term more than short term, because at the moment short term fine as it is, but long term wise, I will say that I have had a bit of a think recently, and I did mention to Alex last night that we were talking on Twitter, and this is where this question's come from. Basically, I said to Alex last night, yesterday I had a very, very brief, momentary thought about selling my Japanese Super Famicom and Japanese Mega Drive collections. Well, I say collections, consoles and games, because they're not really big enough to be collections just yet. But yeah, I did have a very brief moment. And there is a particular reason for that, which will become more apparent in a video that will be coming up probably next week. I'm hoping that'll be the case. So look out next week for a new video which will explain the reasons why I was thinking that way. I'm not going to do that because I do love the Super Famicom. It's my favourite console of all time. And I'm really starting to like the Japanese Mega Drive a lot. The Mega Drive starting to really grow on me as a system. So long term, those are going to stay. When I've got a more comfortable personal life, my situation is better and I can afford to buy games regular again, what I'll do is I will pick up the Super Famicom games I want. I will finish my Mega Drive list off. That'll be that then. I'm not going to go crazy with the Super Famicom because I just want to get the games that I want, the essentials. And as I say, next week, hopefully next week, there should be a new video coming out which will explain a little more where my focus will also be going, because there's something that has happened recently where I was talking to Retro Dave Nintendo, and if you saw Dave's recent video, he was talking about how he's expanding his horizons in terms of collecting, and also mainly in the terms of playing the games more than the collecting side. That he's obviously a very Nintendo focused person. That's what he grew up with. He loves the NES, loves the SNES, but he feels at the moment that maybe he's limiting himself in terms of the systems that he owns and plays, and he's missing out on quite a lot of different games from different consoles by Sega, Sony, Microsoft, whoever. And he feels that, you know, now is the time to move on and to start buying other systems. And quite frankly, there's been a bit of talk in the community recently about whether people's opinions on what you do matter. I personally don't think they do. It's nice to have positive feedback and constructive feedback. I always want that, and that's great. And I get a lot of that from you guys because you're all top people. But of course, you occasionally do get comments from people that you don't talk to on YouTube and who maybe have been watching you for a while, never commented. And you get the troll comments, obviously, but you also get some people who are just quite rude and will be to the point and say, you know, why is it all you lot do is just buy, sell, rebuy, without really understanding how the collecting mind works. And it's not a simple thing. It's a psychological issue as well, because it really is. And I don't think unless you're an actual collector yourself and you've gone through the process, you actually really understand what it's like. And there's, quite frankly, on a basic level, there's nothing wrong with buying something, playing it, and if you don't like it, sell it on and make some money if you can get a profit on it on eBay. And then maybe a month, 6 months down the line, however long, even a week, if you change your mind and you want to buy it again, if you've got the money, and like Darren, Daz Cajonas de Loro said, if you're not harming anybody and you're not putting yourself in financial difficulty and you're not causing problems with your loved ones, then personally, what is the problem? It's no one's business what you do. And all of us that communicate on a regular basis, all in the same boat, we all do the same thing. And we all have a laugh and a joke, and I don't mind that. I like constructive feedback. I like people having a bit of a dig and taking the piss out of each other. That's perfectly acceptable. But don't just come in my face and insult me. I never understand people who do that, and it's not a regular thing. I very rarely get comments like that, but I do occasionally get those. And you have to be careful, because they're either a troll, somebody who's quite abrupt and doesn't know how to communicate properly, and probably isn't trying to offend you, but it comes across that way in the comment because of the way it's written, or they're just trying to, be an arsehole. You never know, really. But anyway, that's going a bit off topic. In terms of my collection, as I say, I'm going to finish the Mega Drive collection off. There isn't a lot, there's about 50 games I want in total. I've got quite a few already. Super Famicom, there's obviously the essentials I need to finish getting. Some have gone really expensive, unfortunately. And there's a couple of games outside of the essentials list that I want to get, so I'll get those. PlayStation 1, Xbox Original, just buy them whenever. I'm not looking to really build a massive collection for those, just buy games that I see cheap and I want to play, because they're not expensive systems. And then, of course, there is a new focus coming to my channel, which hopefully I'll be able to do a video on next week. And that is going to be a really interesting one. I'm really looking forward to that. But we'll see next week. Keep on my channel. Hopefully there'll be a new video next week and that'll explain it all. There probably more will be. I'm just waiting for a few items before I can explain it all. So, question number 2. YouTube is so influential. All it takes is one person to show a game, a franchise, a system, or something a little niche, Japanese games for example, and we all think, yeah, actually I might buy one of those as well. It's so true. Are you susceptible to being influenced? And when you do get influenced into buying something, generally speaking, how long does it take? How long do you tend to stick with it before you realise that actually it's not really for you? I don't know about time frame, to be honest, Alex. Obviously, I always, like everybody, I get influenced. I'll watch a video and I'll be like, man, I really like that. Like recently, luckily it hasn't happened to me, but it could have happened quite easily. It's only because it's so expensive that I can't. And Jay Cybersnake 7's getting an MVS, Daz is getting an MVS. They're also looking at other options as well. And so the arcade thing is starting to become a prevalent choice at the moment, and so that could be a massive influence if it wasn't for the absorbent prices that really put me right off doing it. I mean, just getting the machine alone, never mind the games, Christ. So I think when it does happen though, and it's on a smaller scale, and I see something I'm interested in, I'd probably say the last time was the Famicom. For a while now, for probably the last 3-4 months, I thought about buying a Famicom. I've now come to the realisation I don't actually want a Famicom. My new focus will explain why I'm not going to go there. But yeah, it's one of those situations where you can't help it. If you're watching YouTube videos daily like I do, and you're interacting with a lot of different people, you are going to be influenced. It's simple. It's not. But yeah, I think generally it's usually what happens is if I get influenced, I'll go straight on eBay, have a look, check out the prices, find out what the going rates are for systems and games and boxed, unboxed, etc. See what the situation is, and then work out what games are available for the system. I don't know enough games to actually justify me getting involved. But yeah, I mean, there's never anything wrong with trying the new system out if you want to. If you don't like it, you can always stick it in the loft or sell it, whatever you want to do. But in terms of time frame, yeah, I mean, let's say the Famicom about 3 or 4 months, but normally it's usually a couple of weeks. Okay, it sounds a little deep, okay, but if you could, does the idea of literally selling everything and starting again appeal, or are you not bothered about having a focus? Do you know which direction you're going, or do you just go with the flow? I would say for the most part, I go with the flow. When I first started collecting, yeah, I definitely had a focus. It was Super Famicom, Japanese Mega Drive, and then after a while, I started to think, screw it, and just bought every system under the sun. Like Honus Deloro has done. He's just gone, you know what, I want to try Saturn, I want to try Neo Geo, I want to try Japanese Saturn, I want to try this, that, and the other. And that's nothing wrong with that, because that's exactly what I did. I went out and bought everything. I bought all the Neo Geo consoles. I bought the Saturn Japanese, 2 different versions of that. I bought PC Engine, just anything you can think of, Atari, Jaguar CD. I bought everything. And I found that way it was the best way to just get a baseline and understand what I like and what I dislike. And yeah, I've gone back and forth a few times on different systems like the Jag, and the Saturn for that matter. But it is what it is. I don't really care, to be honest. It's just something I do. I'm starting to get more of a handle on it these days, which is a lot better. But yeah, I'm definitely getting there. In terms of literally selling everything and doing a full refresh, it has been something I've thought about. There has been a time where I've just thought, you know what, screw it, hard reset, just get rid of it all, and just take a month or something, just take some time out, think about exactly what I want to do here, and is this going to make me happy? And that's the most important thing, because I want to be able to buy games for systems, buy a system and games actually that I actually do care about and do want to play and enjoy. Because I think at the end of the day, if you don't play them, what's the point? You know, I mean, it's all power to people who only collect and that's all they do, and they just like them just for the nostalgia factor. They can see them on the shelf. I totally respect that and totally understand it, because I get the same feeling myself when I walk in the game room. But I'm definitely, like Daz was saying the other day, there were definite people who are collectors, people who are gamers, and then there were people who are gamer collectors, which I am definitely a gamer collector. I much prefer to play them than look at them on the shelves, but I do appreciate the enjoyment and nostalgic feeling that you get from looking at them on the shelves. So it brings back a lot of memories, and it just feels good when you walk in the room. You're just like, damn, look at my collection, you know. So I totally understand that. So yeah, at the moment, no, I'm not going to reset everything. I'll just go on with the flow. As you get older, do you find yourself becoming more nostalgic, or is nostalgia something which you don't think about all too often? I would say I don't think about it as often as most people on YouTube do. Definitely, I think you guys are a lot more nostalgic than I am. I just enjoy the systems for what they are, and without this is difficult. There are obviously systems that I have pure, unadulterated nostalgia for, which really scratch that nostalgic itch. And if you know me, you'll know what those systems are. But that's as much as I'm going to say on that for the time being. But yeah, those are the only systems. I think the Super Nintendo, while it is my favourite console of all time, without doubt, I absolutely adore the system and it holds a lot of good memories for me. It isn't a nostalgic system for me. I've never felt that it's a nostalgic console, which is why I was able to buy, because I had a PAL console back in the day. So if it was nostalgic, I'd have gone for the Mario World Pack that I had back in the day. I'd have had all the like Dave Lawnboy did. I'd get the games that I had back in the day, and then I'd maybe look at a few extras on the outside that I never played. Because luckily I did get to play a lot of games on my friend Brian's, because he had everything, so I got to play them around his, so I got a good idea what the SNES library was like. But in terms of nostalgia, no, because as I say, I could have done that, but I didn't. I decided to go Super Famicom first, then I decided to dump that, and I went to American Super Nintendo, and now I'm back to the Super Famicom. And reason being is that basically I want the best I can get on that system, because as a kid, as we all know in the magazines, it was all about that 17.5% speed increase in the 60 hertz, full screen, no borders. So as an adult, with disposable income, it was like, screw it, I'm just going for the 60 hertz one. And I went for the Japanese market because the box art is so cool. It's just the best version of the Super Nintendo. So yeah, but I mean, in terms of the systems that I'm actually truly nostalgic for, they have to be UK systems. There's no doubt about that. And quite frankly, for what they are, they have to be UK systems, because the Americans and that really didn't support it as much as we did. So yeah. Anyway. David Cameron recently announced, oh Christ, here we go, that if re-elected as Prime Minister, this is because we were talking about this on Twitter the other night, wasn't it? Okay. So David Cameron recently announced that if re-elected as Prime Minister in May, he will not put himself forward to serve a third term. I thought it was a little arrogant, to be honest, and I'm not saying it will make a difference to who I vote for, but it has made me question whether he should have said this. I can't get my words, I'm getting tongue-tied. Or just kept it to himself. How do you feel about this? Will it affect your vote, or does he essentially saying he doesn't want the job, or is he essentially saying he doesn't want the job long term? Does it not matter to you? I would say it's obviously a political move. He's not a stupid man, and he's got a lot of advisors around him, and so he's obviously come up with this decision, discussed it with his cabinet, discussed it with his advisors, and they've all, told him whether or not it was a good idea or not. And obviously the consensus is that yes, it's perfectly fine politically, it's not going to harm your chances. Obviously, I'm assuming it's just like the Americans, where they look with Hillary Clinton at the moment, looking to throw a hat in the ring for presidential election next year. Hopefully she'll come out and say she's going to do it soon, because she's just dragging it out there. But obviously they look at all the numbers and the stats and everything, and see if it's actually viable. So I think he's well aware that it isn't going to affect his chances. Me personally, when I saw the report on the news, it didn't bother me in the slightest. My mum was just like you, Alex. She was just like, I don't think that's the right thing to do. And it knocked her confidence a little bit. For me personally, it didn't. I just felt, well, if he gets back in, we're going to get another 5-year term, and that's absolutely fine. The Conservative Party is what's important. The leader at the end of the day is just a figurehead. The actual party are the ones that can be running things. Obviously, he has the say and everything, but it doesn't matter to me, because I think once that 5-year term's up, We'll see where the country is, and Conservatives might not even get back into power anyway. Depending on what the situation is in 2020. And in that case, it won't matter who the leader is. And there's no problem having a fresh start. And I think David Cameron's doing the right thing, really. 2 terms is enough. You don't want to burn yourself out. So, yeah, personally, it made no difference. It hasn't changed my mind. I'm still voting Conservative. And, yeah, there's nothing really that's come up at all that has changed my mind. Labour have done nothing to convince me. Liberal Democrats don't even focus, in my personal opinion. And the other parties, well, yeah. I mean, I'll be absolutely, completely honest. In an ideal world, if it was possible, I would like the Greens. Never going to happen in a million years, because this world is so screwed up at the moment. There is no way in hell we could take the risk of having that party in government, which is a real shame. But anyway, next question. Last question from Alex is, are there any types of videos that you want to make, or at least like the idea of making, gaming or non-gaming related, which you just haven't had the time to do yet? For example, regular vlogs, co-op videos, sticking a camera on your bike and going for a ride, etc. I have always wanted to do, and I've never been able to do it because I don't have a social life at the moment. Vlogs, like what Ninja Bear Hug used to do, where you just, like a lot of people on YouTube do, really, where you just are down in their life, or, I like those kind of vlogs where you get to see people out and about and doing things, and just to see what their life's like. I always find that fascinating. I thought that would be really good to do. So maybe in the future, when my life's a bit different, possibly that could happen. On the bike doesn't work. I've tried that before. I tried recording it, and it's impossible to get it stable. The only thing you could do is really get a GoPro and hang it there, and then it would work better. Because the only option I've tried on the handlebars, and it just doesn't work. It just shakes all over the shop. What was the other suggestion? Oh yeah, co-op videos. I mean, in terms of videos, collaboration videos in particular with people, I'm always up for that. So if anyone wants to do a collaboration on anything, I'm always willing to give it a try. It's not always going to work, but you can try it and see what happens. But yeah, I'm up for that. Anytime. So, but yeah, otherwise, there isn't anything I can really think of at the moment that I thought maybe that would be a good idea. I'm pretty much a go with the flow kind of person. If I get an idea, I act on it. Doesn't happen very often, but and I have in the last year or so, probably the last 2 years, really diversified my content, and I'm really glad that everybody has stuck with me, that I didn't have a massive drop off of subscribers after the fact that I started doing vinyl record pickups, and I've started doing movie videos, and just a lot of variety in action figures and Christ knows what else, and whatever come into my mind, and people are still sticking with me. And I think it proved the point to me that you should always just do what you want to do on your channel, and people will subscribe to you for your personality. I personally have always done that. I only subscribe for personality, and that's what keeps me interested. There's been many people I've watched over the years that have done videos about things that I have no interest whatsoever in, but because the person is so good on camera and I find them interesting, and I like the person on a personal level and the community, I always find it really easy to watch them. So yeah, thank you, Alex. Anyway, so that's Alex's questions. Next set of questions are from Lee Metters. So thank you, Lee. I've got all your questions this week, mate, that come through. So question number 1: have you played many critics game of 2014, Shadow of Mordor? And if so, what are your thoughts? I haven't, mate. To be honest, I don't like Lord of the Rings, so it hasn't been something that's come across my radar. If I'm right, isn't it like an Assassin's Creed type of game? I think that's right, and that's another reason it's put me off, because I'm shy at Assassin's Creed, which is unfortunate. I've always wanted to enjoy Assassin's Creed because I like the history side, but I just find the gameplay frustrating because I'm crap at stealth. Okay, similarly, have you tried Drive Club? It was planned at launch, but I picked it up recently as it has since grown. I can't speak to that. As it has since had glowing reports. Christ, what is wrong with that? Post patches. Anyway, I think it's fantastic. It looks stunning. I haven't tried Drive Club. To be honest, that's another one that didn't really register with me, because I'm not sure. I think it's more of an arcade racer, isn't it? It's not like Forza or Gran Turismo. So that would be more my kind of thing, because I like arcade races. So I'll have to have a look at it, mate, and find out some more about it, because to be honest, the only thing I know about it was the original release. They put out a little mini gameplay a couple of years back, and I haven't really paid any attention to it then. I'm not a big car guy, so I only play them now and again. Do you have any interest in Bloodborne? Unfortunately, I don't. I'm sorry about this, Lee, but no, that's definitely not my kind of game at all. If you could only own one console from any of them that have been released, which one would you choose? Obviously, if you go retro, you could not play any new games ever. yeah, it's just gonna, if it's consoles only, then it's gonna have to be Super Nintendo because it's got such a vast, amazing library, and it's it's my favourite console. So yeah, I mean it's staying between the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation One because you're never really gonna get bored playing those two consoles. You seem to like your US TV shows. Have you ever watched The Walking Dead? My favourite kind. I watched the first season, and I'll be honest, it bored the shit out of me, so I stopped watching it. When they got to the end of the first season, I was like, man, this program is not picking up. It was just dragging on to it. The problem I had was it's a zombie show, and it was just too meaningful and too emotional. And it's like, I really don't want to know about the lives of these characters. I just want to see them blowing zombies' heads off. And yeah, that's a bit obviously not pathetic, but I just think at the end of the day, zombies have been done to death. No pun intended. So of course they had to try and come up with a new concept with that. And I know it's off the back of a load of graphic novels as well. But yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was just okay. It just didn't hold my attention. My dad watches it all the time, and he said that it got a lot better after season one. Although apparently the new season's a bit weird. It's not really what he was expecting, but yeah, he's sticking with it anyway. So cheers, Lee. Thanks for the questions, mate. Next set of questions from Mark. Sega sent me one. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Have you ever watched The Blacklist? If I'm right, that's the one with James Spader, isn't it? I watched the first episode, Mark, and that was it. I couldn't watch it. I found him kind of annoying to watch, and it didn't click on me, that show at all. And I know people have said to me in the past that you can't judge a show on one or two episodes, like the Breaking Bad show. But for me personally, because I watch so many American shows, and I watch literally shitloads every week. I mean, I must watch at least 10 shows a week. And so I'm watching them regularly, keeping up with them and keeping up the story and that. So if a show doesn't grab my attention in the first episode or two, in the first episode it either grabs my attention and I'll stick with it, or it doesn't grab my attention, I'll just dump it. Or it'd be one of those where you watch it and you think, I don't know, like Empire on Fox. The first episode I thought, I don't know, it's got something about it, but I just think this show's going to be terrible. And then I realised that it was sort of like one of those Spanish soap operas, and that's the kind of vibe they were going for. And once I clicked that in my brain, I just absolutely fell in love with that show, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm so glad I stuck with it. It recently finished, and if no one's seen Empire yet, without doubt, one of the best shows that's come out this year so far. Please go and watch Empire and support it. They got a second season as well, which is awesome. Okay, you have Sky. I don't. I have Freesat, but I used to have Sky in the past. Ever watched the channel NHK World? It's a news channel, isn't it? I think. Channel 507, Japanese news and cultural channel. Oh, there you go. I find the channel very relaxing, especially Tokyo Eye. I don't know if it's on Freesat, mate, because I never look at the news channels, to be honest. I rarely watch the news anymore because it's depressing and it's full of shit. So so I don't really go down into the TV very often. So I'll have a look, see if it's on there. Don't you just hate it when you find a really good game in the wild in that rare occasion and it's priced higher than it would be online? Yeah. Overpaid for a game in the wild? No, I haven't. Not yet. I've always been pretty lucky. I kind of frustrated last weekend. I went to the car boot on Sunday, and there's this guy there, a trader on the indoor part, and he's always like trade prices. He knows his stuff, his eBay and all that. And I was walking past there. Normally, I don't bother looking because there's just no point. But I noticed he got a Japanese Mega Drive, and I thought, So I went over to have a look at it, see what he got. Now, it could have been Asian, I don't know. But he got the red bar and everything. Obviously, without inspecting it properly, you never know. Anyway, the point is, he had a couple of Master System games sitting there, and I was like, oh. And I saw Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was like, oh, hello. Now, that game at the moment, complete, is about 10 quid on eBay, it's selling for. Now, it got hang tab, it was in really nice condition. I thought, oh, what's he going to want for this? And I picked it up, it was $2.99, and I was like, I'm having that. But unfortunately, I opened the box, and there's no manual. So I had to put it back. I was gutted. I was like, oh. So close, nearly got a bargain. I'm surprised he didn't realise that he could get more than £3 for it. So, yeah, that was depressing. But no, in terms of overpaying, no, I've never overpaid for a game in the wild. How many meals a day do you eat? It depends. I'm more of a snack person. That's where my problem is with my weight, and the reason I put a lot of weight on in the last couple of years is due to a lot of different things, which I'm not going to talk about. But I basically indulged in a lot of crap food like Domino's pizzas, etc. And for like set meals, I usually literally just have breakfast, lunch, and evening meal. And unfortunately, at night I tend to like snack on crap that I shouldn't be. I mean, even like toast and marmalade, which you wouldn't think would be that bad, but marmalade's actually quite fattening. So and I'll put it on quite thick as well. I don't just put a little bit on. So that's not a good thing. And there's been times where I've had, like, instead of having 2 pieces of toast, I'll be like, I'll screw it, I'll have some more like 4 pieces or 6 pieces, and that's not a good thing to get into. And I've always found, me personally, my metabolism, if I don't eat at night time, once I've had my dinner around about 4 or 5 o'clock, if I don't eat after that, I'm always better, because if I eat after that, the weight just piles on me. But if I don't, I tend to keep the weight off quite well. But yeah, it's generally 3 meals a day with a lot of snacking, but I'm cutting down now and I'm being a lot more sensible. Or at least I'm trying. I've got to get this weight off me, And I know I've been saying that a lot the last couple of weeks. I do feel like it's coming across that I'm pretty obsessed with my weight, which I am. And not in like a feminine way. I'm just in the moment. I'm just like sick of being overweight. It's doing my head in, and it's not me. I need to be back to normal again. What's your thoughts on The Simpsons? It doesn't really get much love these days. I'm kind of getting back into it lately, as it continues to fall off the radar. Are you a fan? Do you still watch it? And if you do like it, have you ever owned the box sets? I've never owned the box sets. I haven't watched it for years. I literally don't even remember the last time I watched The Simpsons, because it got to a point where it was just the rehashing the same thing, and it wasn't as good. I still love The Simpsons. I mean, they're great characters, and I'm sure if I watched an episode now, I'd find it funny. But yeah, I moved on to Family Guy and American Dad and all the Seth MacFarlane stuff, so I think it was just as I was getting older and my tastes were changing really more than anything. But still a good show. The other week I mentioned about a Thundercats game. Turns out there were a few games. What surprises me is why Konami never did a scrolling beat 'em up. Yeah, you're right, that would have been absolutely brilliant. Or Capcom for that matter. Imagine being able to choose Panthro, Tiger, etc. with bosses like the mutants, along with Jackalman and finally the final mission in Castle Plunder, fighting your way to the final showdown with Mumbai. Do you agree this would have been a badass game? Yeah, and to be quite honest, mate, they could do that as DLC these days. I mean, I don't want to encourage DLC in any way, shape or form. You can always have a Japanese physical release as well. That'd be nice. But yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, I've been watching AMC Movie Talk a lot, and they keep talking about how it would be a great idea to make a live action Thundercats movie. And I've got to agree, I think that'd be brilliant. And if they did that, obviously, and it was successful, then obviously merchandising comes in, so they could make a game off the back of it. And a classic, like 2D or even 2.5D scrolling beat 'em up would be absolutely fantastic. I'd love to see that. If I knew how to code, I'd get on Kickstarter. What's the better show, The Wire or The Sopranos? But I've never seen The Sopranos, mate. I've always said I will sit down and watch it one day, and I've never got around to it, so I don't know. But The Wire, I love that show. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best shows I've ever watched. So I can't really compare this because I don't know anything about The Sopranos. But The Wire is a great show. Have you ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm? No, I haven't. I've seen little bits when I flick in the channel, Larry David, but I've never actually watched it. Have you ever played Portal or Portal 2? No, I haven't either. I haven't played those. They don't really appeal to me. I'm not very good at puzzle solving. I get stressed really quickly with puzzle solving. If I can't work it out in 5 minutes, I get really annoyed. I don't know what that is. It's just personality trait, I think. Are you finding collecting for the Japanese Mega Drive one of the most intriguing to collect for? It's certainly interesting. I mean, all the Japanese market in general, the N64, the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, they're really, really cool to collect for because they've got really nice box art. But yeah, there's a lot of really strange, obscure Japanese releases, exclusives, and you're like, whoa. I mean, the SNES, like games like Super Ninja Kun, which I've never heard of until Paul, the Nooch 79, is it? Paul, if you're watching, I apologise if I got that wrong. I think it's 79. Yeah, when he showed that, and I didn't know what it was, and I looked it up, and it looked really cool. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting market to go for, the Japanese market, because you're just finding new gems all the time. No pressure, mate. Okay. But where the hell is that Mario Mega Drive gameplay you promised? Yeah, sorry about that. I know I've got about 8 Mega Drive gameplays to do. They are coming. I just haven't had a chance to film them yet. But yes, they will be coming. What was Captain Hook's name before he got the hook? I have absolutely no idea. I've not even seen the film of Robin Williams. There's so much on my to-do list that I just haven't got around to. Do prison buns, but do prison... Why am I cannot talk today. I really don't know what's going on. Do prison buzzies have emergency exits? I would hope not, but then they are chained down as well on the bus, so they can't escape anyway. Do you wake up or open your eyes first? Wake up. Yeah. If a criminal turns himself in, does he get the reward money? No. No matter what colour bubble bath you buy, why do the bubbles always remain white? I would assume it's down to the soap and the combination of soap and water, maybe. I don't know. Why do overalls have belt loops to put your hammer in? And what do you think of the up-and-coming films, Pixels, the up-and-coming film Pixels with Adam Sandler? Now, I saw the trailer for this the other night because AMC Movie Talk was saying that they thought the trailer was crap. And I thought I would look at it. Now, I'm not a Adam Sandler fan at all. I don't find Adam Sandler funny one little bit. But I thought the trailer looked really, really good, especially with Pac-Man. I thought it looked fantastic and definitely my kind of film, so I'll definitely be watching it. And can you share one thing you didn't understand about the world when you were just a kid? Christ, I don't even know if I can remember anything. The only thing I can think of, not to get too serious, is when the Iraq War happened in '91, the Gulf War. I remember that being a really scary time. What was I at that time? 13, 14, depending on what time of year it was, because my birthday's late in the year. And I remember my dad was doing like 12-hour shifts because he used to work at Lucas Aerospace. And yeah, they were not good times, man. It's like you literally felt like the world was just going to fall apart on me. And as an adult, you understand it a lot more and you get more of an idea of what it's really all about, and it's not as intense. But as a child, it feels like the whole world's going to go to war again and it's just going to fall apart. It's scary as shit. So I'd probably say I didn't understand like the global conflicts and politics so much, which I shouldn't really at 13, should I? Alright, cheers, Mark. Next set of questions from Scribble Sam. So thank you, Sam. And his first question is, daft question, but do you think Dominic Diamond should present Top Gear? I don't know, mate, because I don't know. I mean, as a presenter, he's brilliant and he's really entertaining, but as a car enthusiast, I have absolutely no idea how much he's into his cars and if he'd be a good fit for the show. I mean, obviously, Top Gear is more of a magazine show, and I was told this a long time ago when I talked about the way the gadgets. There's a video on my channel from a long time ago where I was complaining about the way the gadget show had been ruined, and it had gone from being a gadget show to being a magazine show and just about stupid challenges. And someone pointed out to me that Top Gear had done the same for car enthusiasts. So I think in that respect, maybe he would be a good fit because it's not really a true car show and it's more about them travelling around places. It all depends as well now, because Jeremy Clarkson's been sacked. Are Hammond and May going to follow him to wherever he goes? In which case, the BBC, are they going to make a new car show to try and compete? Which I don't think they can compete, quite frankly, because no matter how much of a twat Clarkson's been, whoever hires him, they're going to make a shitload of money and get a load of views. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Do you remember Fun Bandits? The show about video games similar to Games Master and Bad Influence and Channel 4 Late Night Fridays. I didn't watch it when it was on. Wasn't it Ian Lee that was on that? Has he put that on there? Ian Lee, yeah. Ian Lee and Alexis, I can't pronounce her name, the Russian bird. Because Ian Lee works for Retro Gaming now, doesn't he? Yeah, the only reason I know what the show is because a few years back I was looking for Bad Influence in Games Master and Games World on YouTube, and I came across Fun Bandits and watched a few episodes. It's pretty good. I like that Alexis bird and all, she's really cool. Ian Lee, I've always thought was a bit of a twat, but he's got better, and reading in Retro Game, he actually seems like an alright bloke. But yeah, that's the only way I know what Fun Bandits is. Since you don't like Nuts magazine, do you remember PlayStation Plus magazine? It's a magazine dedicated to the original PlayStation back in the 90s, but was also Nuts magazine of its time because it featured naked topless female models posing while covering their bits with PlayStation consoles and peripherals. They actually made that. No, I don't remember that. That's just ridiculous. I like those, but at the time I thought this was cool. Not a pervert or anything, but I thought it was part of their morbid and over-exaggerative, if that's a word, humour. Apart from the naked ladies posing with PlayStation gear, they would go nuts with their reviews by bashing the bad games with swear words that sometimes insult their readers in the letter section. That's kind of cool, depending on how far they went. I mean, back in the day with Nintendo magazine system and meme machines, it was quite cheeky and jokey the way that they would dig at the kids. If it's straight up insults, then that's a bit different. But yeah, I've never heard of that magazine. It's certainly different. Did you used to watch Chucklevision, and what are your opinions? Yeah, I love Chucklevision, mate. The Chuckle Brothers are fantastic. I always found it really funny, and that kind of slapsticky type humour really works for me anyway. It's just, you can't not find that funny. Do you remember Telebugs? No, I don't. I've never heard of it, mate. It is a very obscure British cartoon starring 3 robots with computer monitors for heads. What, like Brian from confused.com, like that. I used to watch it as a kid and still have it on VHS. I've never heard of that one, mate. That's a new one to me. And do you like Thundercats? Hell yes, absolutely. Thundercats are absolutely amazing. One of the best cartoons of the time. Do you like Tomb Raider? Only the new one. The new game that came out in 2013, I adore. I'm on my 5th playthrough at the moment on the Xbox One. Not 5th playthrough on the Xbox One, but the 5th playthrough of the game. I've completed it twice on 360, once on PS3 and once on PS4 so far. I'm now playing it on Xbox One, and it's brilliant. The original PlayStation games I wasn't a fan of. Number 3 was the only one I could really get along with, but I just found them really cumbersome to play. Didn't enjoy them much at all. And all the ones that came out of PS2, Xbox, and GameCube era, I wasn't that keen. That Legend one that came out was okay, but yeah, up until the reboot, really, to me, they never really made a great Tomb Raider game until that reboot came out. And hopefully the new one that comes out is going to continue that arc. In terms of the films, yeah, I thought the films were okay. I thought they were decent. I'm hoping they're going to do a reboot film, and that would be really cool because the new material they're working with now could make a really good film. So yeah, they take it more seriously. I really like the Angelina Jolie films, but they are video game films, which is a bit of a shame. Sorry to sound repetitive, that's alright. But do you like Wallace and Gromit? No, I'll be honest, I don't like them at all. I like Aardman animation and I like stop motion animation. I like the way that it's put together, but the actual program I find it quite boring. It just doesn't work for me at all. Would you rather play Wii bowling or real bowling, as in a genuine bowling alley? Real bowling every time. I love Wii bowling, don't get me wrong. Wii bowling is awesome. Wii bowling, Wii tennis, and my favourite is Wii golf. Wii golf is awesome. I love that game. But yeah, obviously you can never beat the real thing. Snickers or marathon? Marathon, mate. No, there's no such thing as Snickers in the UK. Obviously, people are going to go, yeah, there is. I know there is. I'm being sarcastic. Right? Anyway, thank you very much, Sam. Next questions are from LFC Gamer. Thank you very much. And his first question is, I've sold all of my PAL Super Nintendo games due to how much money people are now charging. I don't blame you, mate, to be honest with you. And it's very frustrating that some eBayers assume that a lot of Super Nintendo games have to cost over 30 quid. Yeah, PAL games are ridiculous, to be honest. Even common games like Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country, in my opinion, it's too much money. So I've decided to go Japanese as they are much cheaper to afford than PAL copies. Is this one of the reasons why you bought a Super Famicom? Yes, it is. Yeah. It's the combination of, this is where I started collecting, so I want to go back to that. The artwork on the boxes is far superior to the Western artwork. Don't get me wrong, some games, the Western artwork in America and the PAL regions does beat the Japanese, but not very often. 99% of the time the Japanese whoops its arse. Yeah, and the price, I mean, at the moment, some of the Super Famicom games have gone really stupid. Like Turtles in Time, people are asking 100 quid for that, and I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous. I saw some dickhead asking 200 the other day. I was like, mate, piss off. No one's going to give you 200 quid for that. You know, if I have to in the future pay 100 quid for it, I will save up and pay 100 quid because it's an essential game and I'll play the hell out of it and get loads of enjoyment from it. So it's worth the money. But it's annoying when you got things like Final Fight Tough, which hasn't increased that much. I started collecting them out about 2003, 2004, and I was paying £100 a copy back then. Nowadays, you're looking at £2.15. On a really good day, you do occasionally get people listed for £150. So it hasn't really increased in value all that much. So that's not so bad, but it's still, you know, 200 quid for a game, man. That's a shitload. And yeah, I must have been, recently I've been reevaluating a lot in terms of that. I don't, as I said, I had a very brief thought about selling it because I just don't know if I can be arsed anymore. But then I thought, no, what's the point? Because I'd regret that as soon as I did it. So I'll just keep buying them. But I just buy them now and again. I'm not going to go crazy because I ain't got the money anyway. So it don't really matter at the moment. But when I have got the money, I have to be a bit more sensible. But you know, that's bollocks because as soon as I get the money, I'll just be throwing money out and buying everything. But yeah, definitely the Japanese market is the best option at the moment, I think. Until, of course, all the resellers and all the arseholes suddenly realise we're all going Japanese and jack the price up. But then I don't really like buying Japanese games from UK sellers, to be quite honest, because they're usually in shit condition. And I don't trust them for packaging. So I'd rather just buy direct from Japan because you get the best quality and the best price. What is the trickiest meal that you've ever made? I don't know. I don't know what it was called. It wasn't. I was going to have. Not going. Oh God. I was seeing a girl. Let's put it that way. I wasn't in a relationship with her, but we were seeing each other regular. And she taught me to cook this. It was like a bolognese, really. I suppose is about the closest you can come to. So like, you know, like minced beef and loads of vegetables. It's pretty standard like student food, and that was about the best I've ever managed to do with peppers and all that, and just chuck it. It's sort of like in war days where you just get whatever's around, whatever you've got left over, and just throw it all in the pan, that kind of thing. I've never really tried to cook properly, and I should, because I know I can do it well. When I was at school, we used to do cookery classes. The one thing that stood out for me, we had to do a Swiss roll one year, and I remember that the teacher told us, I can't remember right, I think they told us to use white flour, and I told my mum. Mum was like, that ain't going to work, it's going to fall apart, you need to use brown flour. I think that's right, or it could be the other way around, but anyway, my mum put me in the right direction, and I took the different flour in, and sure enough, everybody in the class, they all fell apart, and I pulled mine out of the oven, it looked mint, it was absolutely perfect. And I also cooked a curry as well, which came out really well. I was actually quite chuffed with myself, so I have got the ability. It's just, motivating myself and really doing it. And I find the problem is a lot of modern cooking as well, because when you watch like Jamie Oliver and that, there's so many different herbs and God knows what else, and different spices, and it's expensive, especially when you're on your own as well, to try and to do that. It's just you go into supermarkets and they're geared up for families. So even when you buy like a lettuce or something, you have to buy a full one or a full cucumber, and you just can't get like single person portions, which is a pain in the arse. Anyway, if you were in charge of the UK, what things would you ban, and what do you think needs improving? What needs improving is the NHS, the roads, the police. They need to put more police on the streets. That'll never happen, but that would be nice. In terms of banning things, smoking, cigarettes, I outlaw them without a doubt. That'd be the first thing I'd do, because I absolutely detest smoking. It's disgusting, unhealthy, unnecessary and pointless. And yes, I smoked when I was younger, and I know that they always say that people who have quit are always the worst for criticising it, but I absolutely hate it. I can't stand the smell, I can't stand the fact that it makes you choke and you can't breathe around people who smoke, and people who smoke don't understand and don't really care, and they just basically think you're overreacting when you're not, and you're actually literally choking and it's all in your lungs, and it's absolutely vile. So I would absolutely ban smoking without a doubt. Another thing I'd also do is anyone who's caught littering will get a smack around the head, because that really annoys me. Never mind a fine, just slap them. It'll make it legal that if you see someone littering, you can just slap them around the head. So, especially if they throw it out of the car and all, that really pisses me off. That was very annoying. Why do you prefer the Master System version of Sonic 1 over the Mega Drive version? Just personally, I prefer the music. It just feels better the way it plays. I don't know what it is. The Mega Drive one's really good, and obviously I've got no nostalgia for either version, so I'm just fresh playing them. But the Mega Drive version is really cool, but there's just something really nice about the way the Master System game plays, and it feels more like a traditional platformer than the Mega Drive game does. It doesn't feel like it's totally focused on the speed like the Mega Drive game, and the music is just epic, man. I love the music on the Master System game. It's just so catchy. Quality game. What is the longest gaming session you've done in one day? I'm trying to think. I mean, when I was a kid, it would have been most of the day. So you're talking at least like 15 to 20 hours easily. As an adult, probably maybe 10. I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably about 10. If you were drunk, what would be your perfect food? Kebab, all the way. Lamb kebab, all the sauces. Chili, mint sauce, just mayonnaise, the lot, all the salad, massive bit of pita bread. Can't beat that. Or if not that, it'd be kebab meat and chips with curry sauce, because that's just quality. What did you and your friends used to do during a boring school assembly? Me and my an old friend of mine used to try and have the last clap, which resulted in us visiting the headmaster. I really can't remember, mate, to be honest, back then. That's quality, that is. Yeah, I think about back then, the way that teachers used to treat you. And I'm sure that they're not allowed to do it anymore, because I'm sure nowadays that they have to be, really politically correct, and they can't touch the kids in any way whatsoever. But yeah, back then when I was growing up at school, they didn't give a shit, man. I remember my old PE teacher used to throw a basketball at your head if you were talking. Me and my best mate used to always have that happen. We'd be sitting on the benches and he'd be talking about whatever bollocks he's talking about. I really didn't care about PE. And we'd be chatting, and next thing you know, you just see a basketball coming out of the corner of your eye, and you have to duck and make sure you don't get hit by it. He was a twat, he was. What is the most irritating song that is stuck in your head at the moment? I haven't got one. You know, I actually haven't got a song that's stuck in my head at the moment. No, I haven't really. That's weird. Normally, I mean, it was Shake It Off for quite a while, but recently there isn't one I can think of. That's strange. Have you previously owned a 3DO and did you enjoy the games for it? Oh, that's interesting. I was actually watching a video by Dan Wood last night. Brilliant guy on YouTube. And he was talking about a 3DO. Yeah, I've owned one briefly. There's a video on my channel when I picked it up from the guy in Bristol a couple of years back. And yeah, I've actually thought it was a really good system. I never got to try all the games I wanted to try on it. I mean, for me when I was growing up, the only reason I wanted a 3DO when I was a kid was because of Street Fighter. Because it always was, I always saw the 3DO version as being the ultimate version. Unfortunately, the 3DO was bloody expensive back then, so I was never going to get one. But as an adult, yeah, I owned one a couple of years ago, and I played Road Rash on it, and I played a couple of other games like that Return Fire games, just couldn't get on with that one. And I actually thought it was pretty decent. There have been times where I've considered buying one back at some point, especially when Jay Cybersnake will pick. This is it about influence on YouTube. Cybersnake 7, Jay picked one up not long ago, like last year, I think it was. Maybe, yeah, I think it was last year. And straight away I was thinking, oh, I went on eBay and had a look. Not a good thing to do. But yeah, I mean, I watched Dan Wood's video last night and he was showing some of the games like Gex. I've never played Gex. I've seen bits, screenshots and that, but I've never seen it running. And it looked really good. And I've always heard that Out of This World, or Another World as it's known over here, is really amazing on the 3D. And I watched him playing that and I was like, holy shit, man, that looks good. I love that game on the Amiga back in the day, and to see it on the 3DO, very nice. So yeah, I think the 3DO is actually quite decent. It's not the best system in the world, obviously, but it has got a couple of really decent games. And is it the FZ1? I'm never too sure which one's which. I think the FZ10 is the flat one. The FZ1 is the original, really sexy machine. I love the original design with that kind of like marble effect on the top. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, back in the day, considering how much they were charging, you definitely got your money's worth. It looked like a high-end bit of kit. Really nice. Do you prefer your meat? Do you prefer your meat medium, rare, or well done? Medium. I don't like it bleeding all over the plate. I want to know it's dead and it's cooked. And I don't like it well done either because I don't want to chew it. So it's got to be just nice. I love that he's put, I'm a well done person, even if these TV chefs says it's burnt. Yeah, I don't know what it is with the TV chefs and having it like bleeding all over the plate like they're just dragging out a forest. I don't get that at all. Weird. Do you like any of the Venga Boys songs? Yeah, I've got some of their singles on CD, mate. I absolutely love the Venga Boys. Venga Boys, I don't know how you say it. Venga Boys, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, they were really cool. Are you any good at doing crosswords, word searches or Sudokus? Not really. But Sudoku I don't get at all because it's just beyond me. I don't think I've ever tried word searches. Crosswords I've done occasionally and sometimes I can work them out, but I'm not, you know, I'm not brilliant. I mean, occasionally, my mum and dad do them all the time, and like they ask me for an answer if they're stuck, and occasionally I can work them out, but yeah, I'm not very good at them. I just need to do them more often, and you get better, don't you? That's just like anything in life. Do you hate when a person says, yeah, I know, or true, for the sake of it, or pretending to agree, and to show an interest in your conversation? I get this all the time over again, it pisses me right off. Yeah, I know. There are certain things like that annoys me, and I don't know if people are doing it, are trying to annoy people. I think it's just, they're just trying to fill the gap so there's no empty silence, but yeah, it can get a bit bloody annoying. And it's like Greg Miller, who used to be on IGN, who's now on Kind of Funny Games. Love the guy, I think he's brilliant. But I'm watching him in conversations and he'll be talking to people and he go, sure. And that really binds me up beyond belief. And I don't know why, it just irritates me. I really love the guy, but that just annoys me. And okay, what were your first impressions on the Wii when it was first shown at E3? I honestly cannot remember. I know I must have been impressed because I bought one on launch and I was really chuffed and I was excited to get it and I couldn't believe it when it arrived and I played Wii Sports and I was like, oh, this is amazing. But yeah, I really don't remember. All I remember from E3 back then, that year, was that E3 2006? I think it was, I can't remember. I don't think it was 05, I'm sure it was 06, wasn't it? And I just remember all the what would be called like memes now, I suppose, where they had it as a remote control, which I thought was quite funny at the time. But yeah, I know I must have been quite impressed with it when it was, because I remember the thing that did it for me that was the Red Steel video that they put out, the trailer for that game, and the kids running around, and it's ridiculous when you watch it now, but at the time it really was something that pushed me to get a Wii. Was watching that kid diving across his living room with his Wiimote and shoot and stuff. That, I thought that was really cool. Obviously, we know that's not how it works, but if it had worked like that, it'd have been bloody brilliant. Have you ever beaten Star Fox on the Super Nintendo? Yes, I have. Only on the easy level though. I've never done it on the other two difficulty settings. But yeah, I've done it and I absolutely love it, mate. Brilliant. Would you like to visit Japan to learn about their culture? I'd like to visit Japan for many reasons. The women, the games, and obviously going on a crazy shopping spree. And yeah, and the culture as well would be quite interesting because it's so completely different to our culture. It'd be really interesting to learn about that. I find the Japanese language really interesting as well. Back in the day, I always found it quite aggressive, but the more I listen to it now, it's actually got a really nice rhythm to it. More so when women speak Japanese than men, because the men still sound like they're shouting at you and they're going to kill someone. The women are a lot more softer, and it's just a really, really nice language. So yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks for the questions. Right, everybody get comfortable, because Keith's got a load of questions for us. So cheers, Keith. So Mr. Hewitt has a lot of questions this week, and his first question is, what Nintendo game do you think had the most influence on all games thereafter? I think Super Mario 64, because they still use a lot of recycled soundbites in that game in today's Mario games. That's a bloody tough question, Keith. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, actually. Because that would have influenced a lot of the platformers, but I mean, obviously I don't play all the Nintendo franchises, so it's really hard for me to choose, but I'm going to have a cop-out answer and I'll go with Mario 64 as well. What game is timeless in your opinion? I think Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo handles superbly, graphical style is simplistic and timeless. It's a game that could have been released last week. I completely agree with that. Also Castlevania 4 as well, flawless game, absolutely brilliant. Street Fighter 2, personally, still, they did a HD version not long ago, a couple of years back. They could do another version of it, and the game's just genius. Mario World, another game that, like Mario Kart, you could release it now and it'd still be awesome. It's phenomenal. There's tons of them. Okay, you're decorating. The pot of paint is teetering above your Japanese Mega Drive. Well, okay, or LFC gamer's head. I don't know why you brought LFC into it this time, but okay. Which do you push it towards? P.S. I wouldn't injure LFC gamer. He would just need a good wash. It'd have to be my Japanese Mega Drives. I can't really throw it over one of my subscribers. That's not really right, is it? So yeah, I can always clean the Mega Drive afterwards. Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? No? What? Okay, have you seen my blog yet? Haha, not yet. I'm tempted by Just Cause 2. Is it any good? I've got no idea. I've only played a demo. I played it a long time ago, thought the demo was decent. Never been a big fan of Just Cause, but they're alright. Do you like the Driver series? I liked it up until the last one, San Francisco. I never played the San Francisco, and I played Driver 2, and Driver 3, and Driver Parallel Lines. Those are the ones I played. And yeah, I thought Driver, brilliant, classic. Driver 2, just as good. Driver 3 was a pile of shit. And Parallel Lines was pretty decent, actually. It was more in line with the original too. So yeah, decent series. What is your fondest non-gaming memory? Bloody hell. I ain't got a drink left. Probably all the time spent with my friends growing up. Yeah. I had some really good times with my mates, and yeah, a lot of good memories, so I'll go with those. Ellen Page or your supply of turnips and an aardvark as a pet? Aardvark would be quite cool, actually. I'll go with Ellen Page on that one. Have you ever been surprised how popular one of your videos became? Yeah, all the time. I don't really check the stats on my vids, and now and again when I do check them, and I go back and I look at like the analytics and it'll show you the most popular video, and it's like, holy shit, how'd that happen? Like, my most popular video is always the same video. It's one that I did, I think, 2011, which is a game room tour, which is over 40,000 views now. Blows my mind, that does. It's like, how is that possible? I mean, room tours are really the golden goose. I really do think that if you just had a channel where you just, every month, you did a brand new game room tour, you'd get tons of views, because people seem to be really nosy and love game rooms. I do myself. But yeah, it blows my mind. And some of the ones that really impressed me, well, not impressed me, but amazed me, are the gameplay videos. And the one video that always, there's gameplays of like San Andreas, which is a terrible gameplay. I did a terrible job. I made a right cock up on it. And yet it's got loads of views. And I'm like, I don't get it. It's beyond me. And there's other games like 24 that got good views. The two videos that are getting the most feedback, so the most views and feedback, are going to be the room tour from 2011. And my video where I was talking about an S-video, I think it's a monster S-video cable for the N64 as an alternative to having any RGB mods. Every now and again, like every couple of weeks, I'll get a comment or two on that video. It's really bizarre. But yeah. Next question. Let me have a look. Have you ever ridden a bicycle really quickly and overtaken fast-moving cars? No, not yet. Not the way they drive downhill, I haven't, no. What kind of farmer would you be? A llama farmer. No, I'd be an agricultural farmer. I agree with Nintendo's move to mobile gaming. It will secure their future. Do you agree? Business-wise, yes, makes perfect sense. From a gamer's perspective, I don't really see the point. But then I never play mobile games, don't interest me in the slightest. But yeah, from a business standpoint, absolutely right decision. And I'm surprised they've done it at all. And to do it this quickly, well, yeah, that is a real surprise. I think it's Mr. Blobby was saying last week about how he thinks the new console's going to be digital. And I'll be honest, mate, I know I haven't replied to your second comment after I replied to your first comment, if you're watching. But yeah, I think you're actually onto something where he reckons the console's going to go fully digital as well. The more I thought about that comment and the way he explained it, I actually thought, you know what, you're probably onto something there. Maybe they are going to be the first company to do that. I mean, I never thought I'd ever say that Nintendo would be the first company to do that. But there is a possibility that they could, if they're looking to go onto mobile platforms, but that's where they're going to go with the console as well. And the new NX is going to be a digital console, and they're going to leapfrog Sony and Microsoft and get out in front. Because maybe they're looking at it from a different bit of business strategy these days. It's really surprising. But yeah, I mean, if you want to see his reasons, look at the comments on the previous video, episode 44. He made some really good points, I thought. Okay. Who would be a better even window cleaner? Stevie Wonder, Pingu, or Paul Gascoigne? Paul Gascoigne for the comedy factor. Would Super Mario make a good driving instructor? It's a career I've considered going into. He would, but he'd keep disappearing because he'd have to keep stopping and going and trying to save the princess. So I don't think he would actually. Will the Nintendo NX, presuming it will be a home console, be part of this generation, or will it be a very early next-gen console? Now that is a very good question. As I say, if they, like Mr. Blobby says, do go full digital, technically it is a next-gen console, which is bizarre to even think of that. Especially if they're going to bring it out 2017, which I'm assuming they are. If they bring it out next year, then Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on. I would assume the safe bet is going to be, it's going to be a current gen system. But it doesn't mean it's not going to be, this is really difficult. I think it's going to be current gen in terms of graphics, and it's going to be pretty much on par with PS4 and Xbox One. But it's going to be next gen in terms of it might be a digital distribution system. But the only thing that pulls me back about digital distribution option is the fact that their core audience at the moment are casual gamers. And then when I thought about that as well, I thought, well, actually, you know what? Casual gamers, they're used to using digital content. That's what they do on mobile devices, isn't it? Which is what, because at first I wasn't sure Mr. Blobby was right, and then we had a back and forth, and the next comment I didn't get to reply to, and he made valid points. And the more I thought about it, that's what really turned me around to think, actually, he's onto something there. Maybe they are going to go digital because the casual gamer is a digital beast really these days. You know, they live on the internet with iTunes and the Mac Store, and they're downloading all the apps and the games, and yeah, maybe that's what Nintendo are thinking. So it's a bit of a bridge gap, really, isn't it? It's graphically probably going to be current gen, but in terms of its delivery system, it's going to be next gen. It's going to be weird. I'm just really excited now to find out what it's going to be. I'm interested to just see what the details are when they bring them out, because yeah, it's going to make some interesting videos on YouTube when they announce this thing. I know that much. Lost myself again. Are you fond of the much celebrated Bugs Bunny? Of course, mate. Bugs Bunny's quality. Who would be better at being in love with Princess Peach? Stevie Wonder, Pingu, Paul Gascoigne. Pingu, because he's animated. Who would you prefer to go on a country drive and pub lunch with? Stevie Wonder, Pingu, or Paul Gascoigne? I wouldn't want to go on Paul Bluntry with Paul Gascoigne that he drink me under the table. So Stevie Wonder, because he'd have some good stories. Mind you, so would Gascoigne. If you're willing to accept, I challenge someone to ask 20 questions, all with the same multiple choice answers like Stevie Wonder, Pingo and Paul Gascoigne. Is that okay? No. I can't be doing that, mate. I'll be all bloody day. I've got enough questions as it is. Okay. Thanks for answering my questions. No worries. I literally laugh out loud every week at them. What is your professional opinion on the wildebeest? Professional opinion, like I'm some kind of like gamekeeper or something. I don't know. I don't know much about the wildebeest, if I'm honest with you, mate. It's not like I'm living on the plains of Africa or something. Someone's going to tell me they're not in Africa now, but you know, it's just an example. My wife recently purchased a Super Mario Kart poster exactly like yours. Awesome. For more posters. What do I think? Quality, mate, because it's a great poster. And yeah, I must admit, it does look bloody awesome, doesn't it? Battle of the Breakfast, croissants or brioche? Brioche is a bit posh, mate. Croissants. Ever found yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile? No, I haven't. Not so far. What is the strangest creature that you've ever touched? I haven't. Some human females maybe, but no, that's a bit harsh. Would you recognise an ostrich egg if you saw one in the street? Definitely not. I know they're big, that's about it. If push came to shove, would you buy games on a future all-digital console, or backwards compatibility comes in a USB drive add-on? As I've said before, at the moment, no. I don't have any interest in digital content. I hate it. But in the future, you don't know what the situation is going to be, and maybe I'll change my mind, but hopefully I won't. But I'm never going to say never on that one. Ever been frightened genuinely by a game? Yeah, Condemned on the 360. Scared the shit out of me. That is a horrible game to play. It's a brilliant game, but my God, it's terrifying. What is the worst thing about chopping and changing your collections? I remember historically you say you only collect for 2 or 3 consoles, then others start creeping in. Well, this is true. I don't really think there's anything bad about doing it at all. It's very indecisive and mentally draining, of course, but yeah, it's also a lot of fun and it's entertainment for you guys. So yeah. What time of day would you consider to be the best for a short gaming session? Usually evening, 8 o'clock or later, when you've just got time to just chill and just enjoy it. Have you ever been involved in a strange coincidence? Not that I'm aware of. Are you willing to show your viewers an old photo or 2 of yourself? I haven't got any, mate, to be honest with you. I showed one years ago on my YouTube channel. That was the only one I had. When I was younger, I hated cameras. Would not be seen dead in front of a camera. Did not allow people to take my photograph. Kind of regret that now. I should have done, but yeah, that's the way I was. Since making YouTube videos, have you always lived in the same house? I have, yeah. I started making them when I moved here in the first place. And how do you choose curtains? I'll leave it to my wife. Yeah, I got my mum to help me with that. I've got an eye for things like that. I'm quite good at working it out, but yeah, I ain't got. I mean, to be honest, I walked around the shop and I was just like, I don't know. It's just getting the colour combination right and all, especially since I painted the room as well. Because I painted the room green, it made it really difficult, but I did get some eventually. Have you ever waited indoors for a workman who never showed up? I probably have, but I can't actually think of an example. Are you more positive these days? It appears so. Yeah, definitely. Probably say about 70%. I'm getting there. I'm much better than I was. Yeah, I'm definitely getting there. Have you ever been in the shop? Torn between what milk to buy? No, because I always buy the same one. So that's not a problem. Without pausing for thought, erring or hesitating, answer this. What's the worst game controller ever? GameCube. I don't like the GameCube controller. I don't like the buttons. I think the stick's a bit awkward. I really don't like that Z button. That Z button got on my tits. So yeah, that's the one I don't like. I am starting the GameCube collection after I found a complete GameCube console, 2 games, Mario Sunshine and Kart, and 1 controller in a charity shop for 35 quid. What games would you recommend? Honestly, mate, that's it. Sunshine and Kart, because I don't know enough about the GameCube. Obviously, the Resident Evil remake is brilliant. Luigi's Mansion's decent. And yeah, I don't know enough about the console. I only had one briefly back in the day, and all I mostly played was Mario Sunshine because it's brilliant. Is the Game Boy player good for the GameCube? I've had one, and yes, it is. It's fantastic. I'm surprised you're not collecting GameCube. Seems right up your street. yeah, as I say, there's not enough exclusives that really intrigue me on that system. I've got a Wii that can play them, so in the future, if I ever want to buy them, I can, and the price of the games as well. So yeah, I only want like Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart because it's decent double dashes, and probably the Resident Evil games. So that's why they were really bothered with it, to be honest with you. And the Star Fox games were atrocious. You're decorating the pot of paint is teetering above a copy of the sun, or a raging bull intent on world domination. Which do you push it towards? The sun. Definitely. Have you ever had to downsize your home? Or wait for an IR soon? I haven't. I've been very lucky that I haven't had to do that yet. What is your opinion on local independent bakeries? Great idea, and I would actually. Apparently, we used to have a butcher's round by us, which is not the same thing, I know, but you get my point in a minute. And that was before I moved here, and unfortunately, the post office is now closing, so that's hopefully going to be moved somewhere else, not too far from me. And I'm hoping they're going to take that shop on and become. I would like a local bakery or a butcher's or something, because it would encourage people to eat more healthily. That'd be great. Although bakeries really don't, do they? Because you're stuffing your face with cake. But yeah. If you could have a Mario power up in real life, which one would you choose? I would choose a cat suit. Tanuki suit. Tanuki suit's cool. In fact, no. Yeah, I'm going to pick two. Screw it. I'm going to have Tanuki suit, and I'm going to have his cape from Mario World because that's just brilliant. I need to go cycling again. What tips would you give me? Just get out there and do it. That's the best way, Keith. That's what I did. I literally just went down to Halfords, bought a bike, and just started cycling. Just set a journey for yourself and just take your time. Don't rush it as well because it will kill you. It will knacker you out. I recently started again this week. On last Friday, I started cycling properly again, and I haven't cycled since October. And it hasn't been too bad. It took me a couple of days to get back into it, thank God. So my fitness levels haven't dropped as much as I thought. But yeah, you can really feel the strain on your legs. I mean, I'm only doing like a mile to a mile and a half every day now, which is, more than adequate. It will kill you. I mean, eventually I want to go further, but yeah, I would just say plan a little, just go around the block basically, just do a small journey just for the first few weeks, just to get yourself into it and just to build your stamina back up, because it takes a long time, for your legs to not hurt like hell and for you not feel knackered and out of breath. And I still now, there's one bit where I'll go up quite a steep incline, and when I get to the top of it, my heart is literally like that, out of my chest. It's ridiculous. But it gets better. Just basically, just get a bike, get a cheap bike, you don't need to have anything special, and just go out there and cycle. Just like when people say about running, just go out and run. Although that's a bit more difficult because it will kill you. I've tried that. What is the most irritating question that keeps popping up regularly? Have you read my blog? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I can't really think of anything, to be honest with you, mate. No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. Battle of the vegetables. Carrots or turnips? Carrots all the way. Love carrots. Would Dame Medvedev make a good driving instructor? Mate, I'd want to kick her out of the car because she gets on my tits. So probably not, no. What is your favourite handheld console? Game Boy Advance SP. Without doubt. Brilliant system. I'm worried about owning a Wii U. Will they keep making games for it after Nintendo's NX comes out? Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I don't think they'll support it for long, but they'll support it. I don't know how long they supported the Wii for after the Wii U came out, to be quite honest with you. I mean, for all I know, they're probably still knocking out games for it. But Nintendo are usually quite good at supporting the system, so yeah, I think you'll be alright. I think even up until the NX, if I'm right and it comes out in 2017, you've still got 2 years yet. So there's going to be a lot of great Wii U games coming out, so you'll be fine. Alright, there we go. So thank you very much, Keith. Right, next question's from Mike Jones. Thank you, Mike. And he asks, what do you think of Destiny? Unfortunately, Mike, I've not actually played Destiny. It's not a game that interested me in one little bit. I mean, everybody went apeshit for that, and there was all like, oh, it's the most amazing game, and blah, 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 and I just didn't care. To me, it just looked like another bloody online shooter, so I just didn't bother with it. So, sorry about that. Okay, next question from Elbow181. So, thank you very much. And these are the final questions today, guys. And his first question is, would you ever consider living in another country? I asked this since I've not lived in England for many years now. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I would love to. It'd be really interesting to see what that's like. America would be really cool. I'm a bit apprehensive. Obviously, my mate Alex Blutonic78 lives over there, and he loves it, and he seems to be fine. But, yeah, I mean, all the guns put me off. That's the only thing with America, and it's probably a misguided view, really, to be quite honest with you, because when you're on the outside, it's completely different to when you actually live in there. But yeah, maybe like living in the south of France or something. That'd be quite nice, or Germany or Italy, because they're just beautiful places. And yeah, But yeah, I definitely would like to try that at some point, maybe. Who knows? You never know what the future holds. What are your most irritating qualities? Great question. Honestly, mate, I can't answer that myself. It's down to other people to answer that. The one thing I can think of is that I sometimes I just feel like I can get into arguments with people because I feel like I'm right, and even when and the problem I have is, even though I know I'm wrong, halfway through the argument, I'll realise that I'm actually wrong and I've got the wrong end of the stick, but I won't let go and I'll keep defending my side, and I can't back down. That's a very irritating quality because I wish I wouldn't do that. I can be turned around, but yeah, but that is something that I do. Do you believe in reincarnation? Who would you like to be reincarnated as? I don't believe in it, but I'm open to the possibility, like a lot of things. I mean, I just don't know. If it is, it's kind of pointless to me. I think I'm more inclined to believe that we move on to the next stage. Because if we just reincarnate and we've just done an infinite bloody circle of life, what's the point of that? If we are, who would I want to be reincarnated as? Well, that's impossible because obviously the people that I'm being reincarnated as that I'll be choosing now will all be dead, and they will have all been reincarnated. So I'm technically being reincarnated into somebody or something that doesn't actually exist yet. Now, that's a mind screw, that one, isn't it? But if there is a possibility to sort of screw the timeline up and go backwards and reincarnate yourself as somebody who's living now, I don't know. That's really bloody hard. I probably wouldn't. I probably just want to come back as an animal. Just live free, like a bird or something. Okay. What would your favourite historical period be for a future Assassin's Creed game? Ooh. See, the problem is I don't play Assassin's Creed. I've only dabbled, so I don't know which eras they've actually covered. I'm assuming they've probably covered the Renaissance or something. That seems the kind of thing they would do on Assassin's Creed. They've done the American Civil War, didn't they, with that Connor on number 3, was it? I think they did that, if I remember rightly. Because I'm sure you went to Boston and everything in that one. Actually, you know what? Because they don't make them anymore, World War II. I want to see a World War II Assassin's Creed game. I don't know how that would work, but that would be kind of interesting. You've got to infiltrate Germany and take out Hitler. Because there ain't enough World War II games anymore and I miss them. Can you recite the tongue twister Peter Piper from memory? No, I can't, to be honest with you, mate. I can't even remember how it goes. Did you ever watch the science fiction series Quantum Leap, Red Dwarf, or Farscape? Never watched Farscape. I also know my thoughts as well. Red Dwarf, I loved the show. I thought it was brilliant. Crichton was my favourite. Absolutely hilarious. I really like Cat as well, actually. Danny John Jules is brilliant. And Quantum Leap, yeah, I loved it. I watched every episode. Sam was brilliant. Yeah, man, that show was really cool, really different. And yeah, they should bring that back, They could easily reboot Quantum Leap. That would be fantastic. Great show. Would you sooner eat Marmite mixed with salad cream or custard mixed with baked beans? Oh, Jesus Christ. It's going to have to be Marmite and salad cream, and that's just nasty. But yeah, the custard and beans is just wrong. Have you ever contemplated making a video series entitled Snestastics Philosophical Ramblings? And we should discuss the nature of existence and its peculiarities. If I was more intelligent and I had a more of a Freudian mind, then yes, I would love to do that. It'd be fascinating. I'd probably lose a lot of people because they'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? But yeah, I'd be interested. What is the naughtiest thing you ever did at school? I really didn't. I'll be honest, I was a really quiet kid at school. The only thing I ever did at school was, what was it? I'm trying to think, I was in CDT and what was it called? Design Technology, but I can't think what the C stands for now. It's basically like a woodwork class. And I remember we had so many different teachers, they kept changing the teachers for some reason. What the hell was we throwing at each other? Me and my mate were throwing something at each other back and forth. We're literally like sitting like from here to the camera, and the teacher was over there on the blackboard writing some stuff, and he threw it at me. And it must have been like a rubber. It was a rubber. That was it, like an eraser for American friends. And he threw it at me. I grabbed it, and I just went like full force, lugged it. Being an arsehole that he is, he ducked down, and it went flying across the room and missed the teacher by inches and bounced off the board. Did not go down very well. I might bollock him for that, but that's about it really. Okay, what is the cruelest name a mother could give her son? Oh my god, Microsoft. Because someone I'm surprised no one's ever done that. I mean, they call them Apple for Christ's sake. So yeah, people give kids stupid names nowadays. They really need to put a bit more thought into it. Like Kanye West kid. I mean, come on, seriously. Thoughts on the Lost Vikings series and pushover for the SNES. Lost Vikings, I've only played the first one briefly. Decent game. Pushover, I used to play it on the Amiga when I was a kid, and I really liked that game. And I don't know if anyone can remember that game, but basically you were like a little ant, and it was like a Lemmings puzzle game where they got dominoes from what I can remember, and you had to get all the dominoes to drop. I really liked that game. It was really, really fun. Yeah, excellent title. I'd love to play that again someday. Opinions on women who have been bejazzled. Now, I'm not too sure what I've heard of bejazzle, but not bejazzled, so I'm not entirely certain what that is. If it's the same thing, then bejazzling is a bit weird. I don't really understand it, but whatever floats your boat, if it makes you happy. Me personally, I wouldn't date a woman who does that. It's not my kind of thing. Not because I've got anything against it. I don't really care. I just don't find that attractive. I'm just worried that that's something else and it's something really weird, like the jazzling their asses or something. I don't know. Would you prefer to have a full head of hair or enormous pecs and biceps? Enormous pecs and biceps, definitely. April O'Neil for the sexiest cartoon hottie. Possibly, but I think Jessica Rabbit kind of beats her, because Jessica Rabbit is hot. Thanks for answering my questions. I'm normally a silent viewer, but felt it was time to fire some questions at you. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. It's always nice to get new people asking questions. So there you go, guys. That is this week's Ask Snes. A lot of questions, a lot of answers. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm trying to think how long this video has been, but thank you for sticking with me. As always, if you have a question for me, please leave it in the comments section below. The cut-off for the video is always next Wednesday, as I film these on a Thursday. Thank you very much for watching as always. Please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.